guys, I hope you're having a lovely day. Today is Saturday, April 11th, and I figured I would just do some updates because a lot has been going on this past week and haven't really been feeling up to doing updates, but I want to get them kind of done and in a video and out for you guys. This way, kind of keep up with stuff and keep everybody in the loop with so much going on. So, I had gotten a phone call on Monday from the primary care physician's office that she is not going to be able to see me because she's doing COVID-19 patients only in the hospital. They sent her to the front lines, which I already knew. I was expecting the call, basically. But I let them know that I still was not feeling that great and that I'm still acutely sick, so they were able to get me a telehealth appointment, which was a huge blessing. The doctor let me know, though, that in addition to like my EDS causing delayed healing, also my mast cell is causing some delayed healing, and she said a lot of mast cell patients do need multiple rounds of antibiotics, so I'm actually within the norm, which is shocking. And I mean, it's reassuring. It was really great talking to this primary care physician because she actually had one of my diseases, and it made it a lot easier because I was really nervous having to see, anytime I have to see another primary care physician, even for something acute, it's trying to get everybody caught up and on the same page. It can be a little bit overwhelming for me and them, to be honest. So I was super thrilled. She was like, oh, I have EDS, and I know what mast cell is, so it saved me from having to try to explain anything to her. So it was such a blessing. I'm really hoping that she would be willing to work with my PCP. This way we can work on getting me a little bit better care. My PCP is fantastic. However, she can use a little bit of guidance with some of this rare stuff. And if this woman has any insights or resources, we can definitely use them. Apparently, the day I restarted antibiotics, nobody told me when you restart them, even though like I had about a week or two gap, I think it is, between antibiotics. I was supposed to go up on my steroid dose. Didn't know that, didn't do that. And I've been pretty stressed out. Another family member has been sick with very strange, mild, acute symptoms. Like, we know they're acutely sick. I'm assuming it's strep like I have, but it's just been chest pain and weakness. But like weakness, like I have never seen them go through before. So it's definitely very stressful, very scary for us. My adrenals don't work great. Didn't have enough cortisone in my body. And of course the infection in me was able to kind of get a head start and like keep bugging my body and throwing diseases into flares. So the mast cell is flaring, and it's been a nightmare with the mast cell. But so I ended up yesterday having a hard time with breathing, and I was like wheezing. I have not wheezed like that ever. I haven't wheezed since, I want to say I was 16 or so. It's been a hot minute since I've been wheezing. So I was like, okay, something's definitely wrong. And then I had taken my inhaler. I had to take a little bit more than like normally what I would have to take. I had to take like 3 puffs instead of 2. I know, not like a crazy more or anything, but it was still a little bit more. And then I took my heart rate, and my heart rate was hanging out in the low 60s, and I'm usually tachycardic, so that was a pretty big red flag to me. I don't really know why it was low, so I do want to throw that out there. It might not be related to what's going on. I don't really know. Oxygen was a little bit low, and the blood pressure was definitely low. I had already taken a stress dose of steroids, so I had like 50 milligrams already in my system, or a little bit more. So I was like, okay, this is definitely not normal. So we decided it was wise to call endocrinology. I was not comfortable. I have injections to do. I was not comfortable just doing the injection. With the pandemic and everything going on, I wanted to double check my thought process with theirs. Unfortunately, they were not able to catch my endocrinologist before he left the building because somebody forgot to page him. A receptionist told me, she's a little bit annoyed. I was like, okay, you can be annoyed for me. That works, because I was way too tired. So the on-call endocrinologist called me, and she determined I am in an adrenal crisis. I have a list of criteria that if I meet this criteria and I'm unable to like stop it with an injection and extra steroids, we're going to be admitted, basically, which is definitely not something that you want to think about or hear. But last night was definitely pretty rough, and like a lot of these symptoms I've had before, like especially when I was admitted last year in the hospital, and every time that I have been admitted, I've had a lot of these symptoms. So it is kind of coming together that this has been like one of the missing puzzle pieces to each time I've been admitted. We definitely are starting to think I was definitely in adrenal crises, but we had no idea what that was. And apparently nobody in the hospital knew enough about it because they knew I was adrenal insufficient last year. And instead of giving me the steroids by like IV or injection, they're actually tapering me. So, and that's bringing down my dose. So that was the opposite. So I'm assuming that's why when I came home, I was much, much weaker. I did mention before, but I'm going to mention it again. The swelling in my left leg does go down some with the steroids. It's coming back up, but I'm kind of like monitoring it. So I did 150 milligrams yesterday of steroids. Today's been 100 milligrams. It's been a little bit emotional and stressful because when your adrenals crash to begin with, it is very emotional because that's cortisone and it's a hormone and it kind of like messes with everything. And then on top of that, like I'm injecting large doses of steroids, so like you don't feel normal emotionally. So, and I know my face is going to blow up more. It's already huge. And I know that's what I feel like every doctor that I see, once I see them, they're going to be like, your face is more fat. And it's just so frustrating because like you can only try to explain it so many times to people. It's like I really wish that my other doctors would call my endocrinologist so that he can explain this all to them. But they won't. They won't email the poor man either. They just like to try to tell him what to do. And thankfully he doesn't listen. He does what's best for my body. So at this point, I'm dealing with a lot of excruciating pain, especially like my whole torso, like the chest from like here to like about there. So the whole torso is excruciating pain. Most of my joints and muscles feel like they're going to literally break. And it is as painful as it sounds. I have a lot of pain in my back, like more than like my usual pain. My muscles are tight back there because probably the dystonia is a little bit, or whatever that is a little bit angry. And then I have like flack pain, and then the pain in my legs apparently is like a hallmark sign of like adrenal stuff. But I also like keep in mind like there's just so much going on in my body that I don't want to like blame everything on adrenal insufficiency. But I'm definitely in a crisis. She was really happy, the doctor, that I was able to get in a little bit of food yesterday. We went over my whole diet, the pretzel and a half and 4 pizza rolls was super impressive. Which, I mean, that's just, I usually stop eating and drinking before going into the hospital, but I never knew that that was also an adrenal insufficiency symptom. I always just associated it with my GI stuff, my gastroparesis and ulcerative colitis, but apparently it's been a joint effort. So I will be needing to keep that in mind. So basically it's just taking lots of prednisone and resting as much as my body will allow. I've been extraordinarily weak, but I'm really proud I'm still able to like walk a decent amount around the house. So I mean, that's always good, trying to look at all the positives, but it's exhausting. I'm used to being in the hospital. I'm used to being monitored very closely, getting fluids, pain meds, nausea meds, like all the stuff, vitamins through my IV. Like I'm just used to having that done in this situation, so it's a lot to handle at home. And just hoping that you're making the right calls, because in the hospital they run labs and they're like, okay, this level's low, that level's low. Here I'm trying to go by, okay, like how I feel. Do I think like certain vitamin levels are dropping because I know like I'm prone to drop certain ones? So I've been drinking banana bags, taking lots of vitamins. I'm using like vitamin patches, oral vitamins, and then sometimes Ensure, which I know sounds like a lot because I am an autoimmune patient as well. However, with the gastroparesis and my stomach not working, I don't absorb much. So when you're not absorbing stuff, you do end up having to put in those vitamins, and your immune system kind of like just accepts it. It doesn't boost the immune system really because it's already in a funky spot, I guess. I don't know like medical terms for how that all really plays out in the system. But it's Easter weekend and we're going to try to enjoy our weekend. Right, girl? So I guess that's it. This vlog is gonna go up probably Monday, today, whenever you're seeing it. And then I have some other stuff planned for later in the week, but we'll just kind of see what ends up happening, and I will do another update hopefully really soon. Alright, so we're just hoping and praying that I can stay out of the hospital. Basically, I'm allowed to stay home until I get to the point that I have a fever around, she said 101, but I'm thinking 102, just because, like, with the pandemic, and vomiting nonstop that, like, none of my meds can control, or diarrhea nonstop that none of the meds control, or my blood pressure drops below, I think it's 60 over like 40. If it drops below that, I need to go to the hospital for obvious reasons. I'm supposed to just monitor all my vitals and all that stuff, and we're running fluids and stuff, so I'm accessed still a little bit longer than usual because it's taking me longer to do all my treatments. Alright, so I've rambled long enough. I will see you guys in the next video.